Ladies, I am available. I'm single. If you are down to mingle,
Ladies and gentlemen,
my phone number is.
Hi everybody, this is AngelArts, and welcome to a very special video. I am here trying not to fangasm too much because I've got 6 incredible people here all together. This is the cast, the main cast of the Seduce Me series. First of all, I'm excited to have you guys here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's such a
thank you. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, for inviting us here.
So why don't we start by going around the room and introducing each other. Basically, all I need you to do is just give us your name, the character that you voice acted, and if you had any other role in producing the game. Like, for example, I know Christopher had a lot of things that he did besides just voice acting the game. Yeah. Please tell us what your other roles were. I want to begin with the lovely and beautiful and talented Michaela.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me. I thought you were going to say me.
Yeah. Nobody thinks you're lovely or beautiful, Alejandro, so...
Alrighty.
That's on the list of things I did, was be lovely.
Shut up so Michaela can intro herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michaela, please introduce yourself to us.
Alright, hi, I'm Michaela. I'm the creator of the Seduce Me series, Seduce Me 1 and 2. I wrote it, directed, and programmed it, as well as did the voice for Diana, and did the ending theme, singing the ending themes for both games.
Damn.
That's me.
I did not know you sang that one too. Sweet. Jonah, why don't you go next?
I'm Jonah Scott. I voice Damien in Seduce Me 1 and 2. And I actually also did all of the sound design that wasn't music in both of the games.
Liar.
Fun fact.
I'm a sound designer, so I decided to lend my sword.
Ethan, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Ethan Nakashima. I play Matthew. And I also help Michaela with programming things when she really needs it.
He's the one I go to when I cry.
Team effort. Team effort.
When Renpai makes Michaela cry, she comes to me.
Does that make Ethan like assistant programmer, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, he's
Programming
great.
consultant.
Brad, why don't you go next?
I'm Bradley Gareth, and I play James in Seduce Me 1 and Seduce Me 2, and I will occasionally just go, hello, in the chat, and that's my contribution to the game.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
He's
my
not wrong.
extent. Send in my lines, go, okay, and I twiddle my thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
You're the oldest. You get to get away with that. The oldest gets away with that. Alejandro, why don't you go next?
You know, I thought you were saving me for last, but fine.
Well,
That's my
Alejandro got angry every time he didn't get picked.
Right, no, because I thought he was going wrong. I thought he was
and-
going to be clever and go in a certain order. You know, I thought he was going youngest to oldest, and then when he went to Brad, I'm like, all right, then he's saving, you know, the best for last. All right, I get it.
No, that's exactly what he's doing.
No, clearly, he didn't know.
We love each
surprise,
other. We really
surprise. This is the man who plays
Let's
Sam.
be
Surprise,
honest here. Let's be honest. If he was going to best for last, he would save Jonah for last because he likes Damien.
What?
Oh boy.
He played Damien.
Look at that picture.
I wasn't gonna play favorite.
Alejandro,
I don't need this slander. Anyway.
I mean, that Jonah looks so stoic right now. He's not even twitching his face at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead,
This
Alejandro.
is slow as
Anyway.
it, man.
I'm Alejandro Saab. I am a voice actor for Seduce Me. I play the character Sam, aka the canon route, aka you should be playing it. If not, what the hell is wrong with you?
So
Go into the
going on with your
Renpai
name
code,
band?
delete all the other routes.
Right. Yeah, and apart from that, for Seduce Me, I contribute nothing because I'm a voice actor. That's all I do. I voice
Yeah, high five to the internet.
Yeah!
Absolutely
Well,
nothing.
I do want to point out though that Alejandro is a fellow Let's Player.
I am.
KaggyFilms,
Yeah,
I think
true.
is your name.
Yes, I go by KaggyFilms on the internet where I play a lot of Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
What a nerd!
Alejandro, what's the next duel?
Tomorrow!
If you want to check Alejandro out, he's about 30 times plus more successful than I am. But if you can, but please do check him out. And last but not least, Chris, go ahead.
Yes, hello. My name is Chris for Escalante. I am the voice for Erik in Seduce Me 1 and 2. You got your intro.
Alejandro, we all shut up when you were introing, so just...
I voice Erik, the seductive one, the one who on Funhouse they called the sexy one. So
was I supposed to describe Matthew?
and I also
The one that is no longer allowed within 500 feet of school children.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
My kind of humor.
and I am also the music composer for the games, including just the main background soundtracks and the instrumental writer for the opening and closing theme songs for each game.
Beautiful, beautiful job on the soundtrack, by the way. One of my favorite aspects of the game.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you guys again. Why don't I just dive right into the questions right away? I'll start with Michaela,
Hi.
since it kind of started. The whole thing kind of started with you. So, Michaela, this part of this question was actually asked by one of my viewers, Mark Roberts. How did the Seduce Me series come to your head, like conceptually, and why did you decide to tackle on the subject matter of demons and incubi and succubi? Like why that realm specifically?
Well, it started like a long fucking time ago, like in 2013, I think. I just got out of doing what I refer to as the lightning party, which basically is NaNoReno. And what NaNoReno is a game jam where you literally take 1 month and you make a visual novel. And I did it, and I was joined by Christopher, and I was joined by a couple of other members of the team.
Okay.
And we made it, and it looked like crap. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's do something good. So during the whole process of making my NaNoReno game, I was thinking long term, basically. Okay, now that I have all these skills that I know how to do, what story should I tell? Should I tell a story about like fighting? Should I tell a story about drama? But I was always a big fan of romance. So I decided, okay, romance. Let's dim it down a little more. What kind of subject do I want to do? And being that I'm a big gamer fanatic, like I love Dragon Age Origins, I love Dungeons and Dragons, I'm a big fantasy whore. I decided to go with just general fantasy, specifically Christian mythology, which comes like demons, devils, a lot of religious-based fantasy. So I wanted to span it down even more because I truly believe that if you focus in a general, you'll get a more lax story, and most of the time it works. Like some of the time it works, but not a lot of the time. So I'm like, okay, we have romance, we have Christian mythology. What are we gonna do with it? I thought about incubi instantly. I'm like, oh, sex demons. That could work.
I mean, that's what, when I think about Christian mythology, I just think about sex demons.
Dante's Inferno is a very sexy book.
Okay.
Get to the lower rings.
In the
of hell.
beginning, there were sexy
Right.
demons.
And see, this is where they make fun of me.
Yes.
But this is why I love these guys. This is why they make fun of me, but I love them. So I had my story base, and so I just started crafting not only Seduce Me, but the world around it, the other games that would be involved in it, which is, spoiler, they're coming out very soon. But then Seduce Me happened, then I cast the guys, and I built the story around their voices, but at the same time around the story that I made, so I just kind of smushed them together, being like, here we go, here's a game.
For the guys, because I know that Michaela said that Chris was involved with her earlier projects already, but for those of you who were not already involved with Michaela, how did you guys become involved later on? Like, did you approach her? Did she approach you? How did you guys even get involved?
I start off by saying,
Oh, go ahead.
In the first game that we worked together, I did not do voiceover work, so she brought me on. I'm like, yeah, I'll do music. Oh, you want me to audition for voice? Okay, sure, why not?
So you were music first, and then she was like, "Gosh, we need a guy for Erik." Chris is an Erik.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Yeah, look at Chris.
Yeah. He's got arms and legs and a face.
He owns a microphone. Let's get him.
I kind of have to ask real quick, like, do you guys get recognized, like, on the street? Do you, like, go to, like, Wendy's?
I have a story.
Oh, you have a story.
I have a story. I told Michaela this.
Oh boy.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's
I
the
was
story?
at Harry Potter World in Orlando, Florida.
What?
And
I
I
know
was
the
like,
story.
this is the last place that I thought that this would happen. But I was outside of I was outside Gringotts, I think, and
Uh-huh.
I saw in line this girl who must have been 15 or 16 years old, and she had a Seduce Me shirt on. And lo and behold, the character on that shirt was Damien.
What?
And I walked up to her and I said, "I like your shirt." She didn't know who I was. And
Oh, no.
I said, "I like your shirt." And then she said, "Oh, thanks. Do you play it?" And I said, "I'm in it." And they're like, "Who do you voice?" "I voice the character on your shirt." And usually I'm not so arrogant or forthright about this, but this was a very rare opportunity for me to do, and I've wanted to do this forever. So, and she freaked out and she took a picture, and we went on Gringotts, Escape from Gringotts together,
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
it was the coolest experience.
Hey man, I
That
don't
is
blame
awesome.
you. I would do the same.
I ran into a fan at a convention once. She was wearing a Seduce Me shirt. It wasn't Erik.
It was Sam, wasn't it?
It was no, it was
Is it
Matthew.
Matthew?
Oh! He was definitely giving it
No. She and I don't talk.
I went to anime expo. Literally nobody didn't meet anybody. I was so sad.
No girl
I
would ever wear a Sam
Oh, you know,
shirt.
I also didn't see Alejandro. Where the
I
we were
was.
both at Anime Expo. Sorry,
I was
this is for
hanging
later.
out
This
with
is for
the
later.
cool
Never mind.
kids. I was hanging out with the cool kids.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, bruh.
I had just recently joined the voice company that Michaela used to work with, that we all used to be in, called Voice AU. And one day Michaela just put up an audition on our private, I guess Facebook page. And I was like, hey, I just joined this organization. I need jobs. I'll audition for all the
money sounds good. I'd like money.
money at the time. I was just like, I'll be honest. I was like, I read the audition and she's like, okay, get this. It's a story about sex demons, and I'm like, God, I just really need a job. And it was the best. I mean, it ended up being one of the best things I've ever done in voice acting.
I think that in general, that's how a lot of guys end up in the adult industry. So
Hey
I
now,
need money.
Seduce Me is only
Dangling money in
16
front of me.
plus.
Surprise me, you two.
Sir.
It's
Yes.
inappropriate.
I'll suck for money.
All right, give me the
Ladies.
crab nipples. Let's do this
Oh.
already.
I
No,
know.
stop! Do not bring that up.
Always the first one. I'm always
like-
the first one to do it.
I mean, I feel like that's how we all kind of got there, right? We just saw Michaela's job posting on.
Honestly,
yeah,
mine was different.
Yeah.
go ahead.
She came,
Alejandro
she came
go
to
first.
me.
She came
Oh.
to you. Okay.
Yeah, I did an
she
audition
came to
for
me, too.
Seduce Me. Yeah, I did an audition for Seduce Me. She's like, hey, you want to do this? And I'm like, what is it? And she's like, you'd play a character. I'm like, am I a main character? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, "Yeah,
The best process. I didn't even have to try, honestly.
yeah, it's like you're a douchebag. You want to be a douchebag?
Come on.
Good at yelling.
I mean, you have to understand. I had no major voice things before this, so
This was your first. This is your
this
first
is like
project. then.
my first major voice job.
The only
Oh, that's
thing I had
cool.
before this was Freedom Planet, but that was
Well,
it.
you had you were in the main character of that canceled voice that you did. That's probably
It's not canceled.
It's
It's
not
on hiatus.
canceled. It's just
You're
on
on
hiatus to infinity.
What do you mean
Whatever.
hiatus? It came out.
Oh, it got it. Okay. Sorry.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I think Jonah was trying to say something. Jonah, what were you trying to say?
Yeah, she came to me as well. Actually, the story how I met Michaela is pretty crazy too.
Go ahead.
This was I used to do a bunch of fan work online, and then I started to get real work after I realized that hey, this is kind of voice acting is kind of a fun thing to do, and it's something to do that's acting that I can hone my skill, my craft. And I put a bunch of files online. I never thought anything would come of it. Lo and behold, got pretty popular, and Michaela came to me in my Tumblr ask box of all places, and said,
Professional.
and she said she pulled a Nick Fury and said, "I'm assembling a team."
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh, should I do it?
Sex demons.
The strongest,
And I'm like,
strongest
sex
demons
demon I need,
beside.
And I was Spider-Man in this case, and I'm like, I don't need your titles or anything. I just need money. You gonna give me some money? And then she's like, yeah, we'll pay you. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So that's how everything went. And she threw me in a bunch of chats, and she threw me in a bunch of Facebook groups, and here we are.
She needed you for the Seduce Me expanded universe. Didn't
Yeah,
she?
Seduce Me Expanded Universe. Seduce me Earth 616.
So Michaela, let me ask you this then.
Sure.
Like, when it came down to actually choosing the right voice for each of these characters, like, did you already have a preconceived idea of how you wanted these characters to sound like, or did you just listen to auditions and were like, that guy's a Sam, or that guy's a Damien? Like, how did you
Wow, is
decide?
that a bad thing? Ooh, that
Yeah, yes and no. Before the auditions happened, I basically crafted the characters from the bottom up. And the way I work is I know all of the characters like the back of my hand. I know their blood type. I know what they like. I do all this stuff. So, and when searching for the voice, I'm like, okay, how this voice needs to pull everything together and wrap it up in a nice tight bow. If they can't do that, they're not worth my time. That's why people hate me. So Ethan's gonna get water. But I went around to auditions, and knowing that I had a specific voice in mind for Sam, that's why I went to Alejandro specifically. Like, hey, Alejandro, you have that gruff type of laid back, I don't give a shit type
You're
of
an
personality.
asshole.
Fuck it. I do? So I asked him to be Sam, and he said yes, so that's how I got Sam. When it came to Bradley, Matthew James,
good old Bradley from Seduce Me.
That's right. When it came to James, Erik, and Matthew, I still really had no clue of kind of what type of voice would come together. When Ethan auditioned, like, it was just instant perfect, tied up in a bow, like, perfect, I got it. But when it came to Erik and James, Bradley and Chris were tied for both.
Yeah,
So
we
it
could
was
have
literally,
Yeah.
it was literally a toss-up between them. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to one guy in one ear, I'm gonna listen to the other guy in the other ear, and I'm gonna flip them back and forth and just see how it goes.
Should've. You really-
And eventually it ended up with Brad being James and Chris being Erik.
You really
When it came to
should've just
Damien, however. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you should have just had both of us voice both of the characters, like, at the same time. Just like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, where it's just both of us trying to steal the line, just synced up.
Essentially. And then when it
Save
came
that for the third game.
and when it came to Damien, there was actually someone before Jonah. Who voiced Damien. I didn't tell anyone, maybe a lot of people this because it was kind of a big down low.
I think I know who it is.
Maybe, possibly. But he wasn't very active. He wasn't responding to a lot of my emails. He was very late with his lines. So me being boss ass bitch, I'll be like, okay, you're out, bye. So when it came to finding Damien, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I want because I had a previous voice actor who kind of fit everything together. But I'm like, can the person I look for do better? I recently followed Jonah Scott, and to tell you the truth, I was a big fan of him at the time. Not really a secret.
Oh, please.
So I kind of messaged him, crossing my fingers, and be like, I need a voice actor. Would you please do it? And he said yes. I'm like, ah! So that's how I found Jonah and got him to do Damien.
Speaking of Jonah, I'm surprised that you didn't have Jonah sing, because I know he also sings too. Isn't that right, Jonah? Putting you on the spot there.
Well, for the songs that we were writing, Jonah has a very lovely voice, perfect for like jazz ballads, very powerful, dramatic type of voice. But the songs that Chris and I were composing, we wanted a rock thing.
Right.
We definitely wanted something with high energy, something that can scream into a microphone and get you ready for a war. And love Jonah to death, but we kind of went together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
trying to
Jonah,
help
love
you
you.
out, Jonah. I'm trying to help you out.
Keep your eye out for the Seduce Me Jazz album coming 2017.
Featuring Jonah Scott.
All your smoothest seducing jams.
Just wait for it.
Love me like a demon.
Luck be a demon.
How you doing, ladies and
tonight.
gentlemen? Try the veal. I'll be here till Sunday.
Yeah, Michaela, I expect there to be a special serenade episode coming up soon with all the guys
Drunk karaoke.
trying to serenade their...
really badly to the theme song.
They could totally make a boy band, all of the brothers.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
No.
and sing that.
I can't sing, so no.
That's what autotune is for. No, you're the rapper.
Guys, let us.
T-Pain.
Guys.
T-Sam.
So for my next question, I know that Alejandro has done this. So for the other guys, just as a show of hands, and if Jonah wants to chime in, how many of you guys have actually played the game? How many of you actually played? Okay, you played the game. All right. So
I
I'm
haven't
gonna
played
admit something.
Play the game?
Jonah, I'm sorry. Did you say you did or you did not?
I have, but
You
I was
have.
really drunk.
Okay. And
Honest man.
I may have not finished the game because
How dare you?
it was weird seducing myself.
I played it with my girlfriend who was
Talk to
immediately
me
like.
about that shit.
I was gonna say I played with my girlfriend who immediately chose Sam.
of course. Did she? But did she know ahead of time that you were voicing?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ethan,
Welcome.
Ethan, you were trying to say something?
Well, I was just gonna say I haven't played through the whole thing, but yeah, no, my cousin played through it, and I was like, "You didn't pick Matthew, did you?" And she's like, "No," and I was like, "Good." She couldn't figure out which one I was.
That was going to be part of my question. So for
sorry.
those of you guys who did play the game, and I'm assuming at some point, if you played the game, you played romancing your character. Did that feel weird
Yes.
or awkward, or
Yes.
what was it like? Go ahead, Alejandro. What was it like playing romancing yourself?
There's a
kind
video
of?
up on YouTube.
Yes.
I gave myself a lap dance.
I don't remember that.
Alejandro, if you haven't done the LP for Seduce Me to the full game yet, it gets worse.
Oh, I'm sure. I know that there's. Can I say spoiler?
Yeah,
Right here?
go for it.
They all die.
Okay,
Everyone
there's
dies.
one part that if you pick correctly, there's a sex scene where the main character grabs Sam by the horns as they're fucking. So
Hot.
yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm really glad I don't have to make any of these sex noises because they would just sound so weird.
I've been there, bud.
If she stays up for 30 seconds, does she win free beer? Like at the bar where
Stay
you
the
get
players
the mechanical bowl.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I during my Let's Play, I actually made a comment about riding the bull. But anyway,
Yeah.
I did make a comment about that. Jonah, I think you were trying to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying the whole sex noises thing. I kind of been there.
I've been there too.
Well, yeah, we sent recordings to Michaela, which were ultimately turned away because I think it was mostly just like.
It was too lewd. It was too lewd.
Yeah.
It was too real. It was too real.
In truth of it, it's like I tried to stay away from like the sex noises for the guys because I don't know their comfortability. Plus, I wanted to keep the rating down. The only one who has sex noises is Diana because I have no shame.
There you go.
If I'm gonna put anyone on the spot, it's gonna be me.
So play the Diana route.
Michaela, if you watch my Let's Play of doing Diana's path, I believe I made a comment about, wow, I'm gay, but whew, wow, I think I'm questioning myself now. It was pretty saucy. I think I had to stop a few times when I did that.
That means I did my job right.
You did a beautiful job.
I'd fuck me.
Well,
Narcissism is a key component of playing this game.
that is something I wanted to ask the guys is how awkward was how awkward was it to record some of the more intimate scenes in this game?
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
I'll go second.
Okay.
And Brad will go second. Go ahead.
I was basically naked the entire time I recorded.
I feel like
I was down to my boxers because at the time my air filter was broken. So I was just sweating, dripping sweat in my boxers recording.
Imagine the most ugly version of Sam.
Yeah, imagine the ugliest piece of shit version of Sam.
Oh,
like if he
stop it.
stopped going to the gym and it's just like, you're gonna let me kiss you, and it's just like
5 o'clock shadow. 5
I'm
o'clock
so
shadow.
sweaty.
Sweat
Right.
and grease.
Right, it's like you know, since he's a cop, he probably ate too many donuts. And it's like, you go over here, show.
I want
the
a
truth
mod
behind
straight
voices.
up
White
of
beater.
Kaggy in the game instead.
This is a real off-putting 3D model.
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Ladies, I am available. I'm single. If you are down to mingle,
Ladies and gentlemen,
my phone
on this
number
first-
is 8675309.
this should be your your eHarmony account video. Is just this.
No, please, eat harmony. I am above that. I use Christian.
Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle.
What are you talking about? It's all about
God knows.
I can tell the story. So I wasn't that bad because I recorded most of my lines in a dorm room, and you know I do a lot of video game voiceover, amateur video voiceover. So a lot of times I'll be screaming obscenities. Someone will knock on my door and ask if I'm okay, and but in this particular case it was just hot because in the dorm room you can't actually adjust like temperatures, and so I'm recording shirtless. My girlfriend is standing there next to me, laughing at me between every take. Because I'm standing there just whispering into my microphone under a bunch of blankets going, I love you with all of my heart. And then, and Michaela knows because she sorts through the files that I'm standing there like, I love you with all my heart. And my dick! And that's like every other take. It's just like me going like, faster, slower, faster. Gotta go fast! So fast! So I can't actually like do the intimate scenes I got through between like laughter and takes of just me being a complete fucking moron. So it's just like, I want to be inside you with my entire fist.
When do you even say that line?
I
don't ever
like,
say
just
that line.
every other line that's like violently romantic or a little bit BDSM as James is just like me. It's just me being a fucking like moron every time between the takes going. Oh,
my.
Oh my god.
Brad, I think a lot of viewers, a lot of James fans are now taking all of those quotes that you just made and making it their ringtone.
Good.
Good.
I have a very quick story about James just to relate because this is
don't
my
even start.
it's not anything bad. It's
Okay.
actually to the credit of Mr. Scott here.
Oh god.
Damn straight.
In the earlier conversation about like meeting people who like your character, I was like, oh cool. Whenever we went to ASIN for our panel, there was actually a James cosplayer there, and I was like, oh that's awesome. And I go up to her, I'm like, oh you look so cool, and she's like, oh thanks. I wanted to do Damien, but I didn't figure I could like pull it off. There's that moment, like, man.
While we're on the topic of ASIN, real quick, I just wanted to say, Jonah represented you. Just wanted to say.
You did. He did.
Thank you.
Take a
I
t-shirt.
wouldn't have had it any other way.
Great.
Perfect choice.
Great.
All right.
Continue.
I think Ethan, I thought I saw your hand up earlier. Were you trying to say
Maybe I don't
something
know.
else?
I mean, I'll join the I did my recording with no shirt club.
How
It
can you
summer,
not?
It was hot. Okay.
Is there any other way?
Is there
really.
anyone who
He was
actually
acting
recorded
as
this
a
with their
hot
shirt
and
on?
strenuous job.
Me.
Thanks.
Excuse me for wanting to be fully clothed when I work.
Man, if this camera wasn't on, I wouldn't have a shirt on.
The hardest part, though, is when you get to like those death knells and you have to scream really loud.
Yes.
And
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
audio engineer nerd in me, sound waves, when they hit some absorbent surface, they reflect back as heat. They turn into heat energy. So the louder you are in a booth, the hotter it gets.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh god, it's so brutal.
You're literally screaming yourself into an oven.
You're really screaming yourself and cooking yourself at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's worse when your air filter doesn't fucking work.
I love the plot of Saw 9. That sounds awesome. It's just screaming into a fucking like burning oven.
I didn't really answer the question though. I mean, I had fine. I didn't have a problem like these other guys, I guess. I just kind of imagined a nice person, and then I talked to them.
Gotcha.
That's a very innocent way to go about it. I like
very,
that.
very sweet young man.
Well,
here.
Matthew's a very innocent.
Very sweet.
Until you have sex with him.
Alejandro.
And he's like, I'm gonna fucking rip you apart.
Oh God! Go on. Can we move on, please? Can we move on, please?
Jonah, I'm sorry. What did you say? I didn't hear what you said. What last thing you said?
I said Matthew's a very nice boy. He's a very nice boy. He's a very sweet boy. Until you have sex with him.
Sweet little boy, sweet.
Michaela, I have a question about Diana.
Okay.
So going back to Seduce Me 1, I was curious about. Obviously, Diana has a very large role, plays a large role in Seduce Me 2, and I was wondering, was that because of the response that Diana's character had from the first game? Did you expect the kind of response that players had with her character in the first game? Because she starts out as a major antagonist, but then obviously there's more to her character. So did you expect more or less people to actually end up falling in love with her character as they did?
I'm trying not to laugh because the boys are like sideline comedy. Anyways,
Yes.
when it came to Seduce Me 1, Diana actually was just meant to be a villain. So forgive me for spoiling this, but this is where I get a little meta. So Diana was meant to be a straight out bitch villain. No one was supposed to like her. She was meant to take away your guy and then just go back home. But
Sorry.
at that moment in time when I was making the game, it went into a late production because my artist disappeared. I had to find a new artist. So I had to make a public announcement that there was going to be a delay in the first game. Because of this, I decided to make a decision, and for the sake of an apology, I decided to add a route, which would be the Diana route, where you would learn about her. But at the time, I'm like, how she's a villain. She has no depth to her. So I decided to go back into the game and dissect Diana. Like, okay, what could be her motivations? What could be all of the stuff that she can do? And somehow within the span of like a month that I went to dissect Diana, I made a big web of kind of Diana's story, and I'm like, oh, okay, instead of one layer she had like 5. What the hell? So when we released the first game, and everyone's like, oh my god, the Diana route, oh my god, the Diana route, I'm like, okay. I fully did not expect that Diana would get any sort of response or any sort of positivity about it. But I guess it was just kind of a happy accident. So that's why when Seduce Me 2, like, instead of seeing her as the boss-ass bitch, like, bad, evil character, in Seduce Me 2, you actually see her being a kind, gentle soul with a golden heart, with an actual backstory. And have you, I don't know if you've played through Diana's training, have you?
I've played through all of. Before the interview, I played through everybody's paths.
Okay.
So I played through everyone.
All right, so you know about Diana's training and all that stuff.
Yes.
That actually was a message. It's a little bit of a meta message, because Kay is. I'm gonna spoil this. Kay is a representation of me. She is she's a character who watches the story, kind of bends it in a certain direction, and kind of helps it go in a specific path. And with Kay, she controlled Diana. And so in the first game, that's why she was like the straight out villain, but truly beneath it all, she was a character. That's why she goes mad in the second game. So when you go through her training, you're actually legitimately having Diana fight against me. And that was essentially my meta apology to Diana. Like, I should have believed in you more. I should have done a better job at representing you in the first game. Now I have it in the second game.
That's cool. Alejandro, I think you have your hand raised?
Yeah. When you said Diana was big, like, basically, I thought you were gonna say that she had big boobs. Just.
Oh my god,
Diana
I hate
has
you.
a very large.
That's what you were gonna point out.
This is what happens when we're having a serious little answer, and then all of a sudden everyone's talking about boobs. Really?
No, we can only be serious for 38 seconds at a time.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully does that answer the question? I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of my viewers who really were very intrigued by her story and when I was let's playing it, I loved her evolution throughout both of the stories, really. So
good job getting her to level 36.
Yes.
Metal Dianamon?
No, you gotta go all the way to War Dianamon.
Oh, of course.
Let's continue on.
Sorry.
You can also unlock the secret ending where you fight a Nega Diana.
For the guys, when you're given your lines to record, how much of the script are you actually given? Like, do you actually know the full story, or you're only given just the lines that
I have
literally the entire thing.
a very funny story. Brad, you go first because I went
Brad,
first
go
this
ahead.
time.
I was going to point out an equally valid question is how much of the script do you read whenever you do your lines? Which in my case is I will read the context for my line and I'm like, okay, no. I will read, like, if I get like a line that's like, whoa, I won't just be like, okay, there's like 50 things that could mean. I'll have to read like the bit above, but it's not like you're going to sit there stuck. I mean, I might just be just this fucking dropout that's like, I'll just read this and then go with the tab, send my lines, yeah, good, right? But we do get the entire script.
Oh, you do get the entire. So you know everything in the story ahead of time.
Yes,
Pretty
theoretically,
much,
you read
but
it.
we don't read it. Okay.
We don't
not
do
to sound-
2 takes.
Here's the thing. We don't read it not because we hate Michaela. But
That was the immediate implication.
Because we really don't like Michaela.
We don't read it because, well, for me personally, it's because for the rest of the story to be a surprise. That's just
also
me.
true.
Right.
That's also true because you can have the legitimate
Right.
emotional reaction the first time you're going through. Because it's like, if you're at the end, oh man, Sam gets shot down in World War II. It's like you want the funeral scene to be.
Spoiler! What the fuck?
Spoiler to the end. Spoiler to the ending of Saving Private Sam.
I have a funny story regarding the scripts since you mentioned reading them, and Michaela knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. So, for Seduce Me too, Michaela probably gave us a script about a month or two before, like all of them. There was like some adjustments that she had us do. Me, on the other hand, decided to be a dumbass and record all 12 scripts in one night. So,
Oh wow.
that's why I kind of, like, if you listen to the bloopers, gradually I start stripping throughout them. And that's because, like, I spent 6 hours, if not 3, recording all 12 scripts.
So the stripping wasn't just to get into character.
It's a little of
just
both.
a little hotter
It's
for
a
the
little of
climax.
both. I even, like, use my shirt as a towel because it's like, whoo, it's hot in here and shit.
That last fight scene, Alejandro is while he's whipping around the sword, you actually could hear him whipping his T-shirt on the wall.
The worst part is, okay, what doesn't help, what does not help, is the fact that Sam yells every fucking line. Every line, this asshole is just yelling or cursing. So it's like,
no, I feel like that's a character decision, Alejandro.
no, it isn't. It's not when it's all caps or
It's all-
exclamation point, or the word fuck in the script. No, it's not a character choice when it's in the script.
Sam was a very shy and thoughtful character
Yeah.
before when the
You know,
initial
you
script
complain
of
about
Seduce
that,
Me
yet
1.
you're constantly yelling now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how this is any different.
Life imitates art now, as it were.
My filter works right now. That's the difference.
I actually ended up doing the same. I was working on music every day for this game, and then we get to like a few days before the deadline where we have to get the voices in. I'm like, I gotta do voices instead of music today, so I ended up doing it in one day too. But fortunately,
Oh, darn the luck.
Erik stays pretty soft, so that was just fine for me to do all day.
Oh, no.
The entire time.
Oh,
Okay.
I, as a responsible person, did mine like several weeks in advance.
No!
Of the deadline.
On a serious though,
Time in advance.
on a serious though, I think even though like Alejandro kind of like was the last person to turn in the Incubi lines in, I think I'm actually the worst one. Confession time.
Oh.
There are lines that I missed, and
Oh,
so
man.
technically the last person to give in lines was me.
Well, at
However,
least you
I
have an
had an
excuse.
excuse. I had an
Yeah.
excuse because I was programming the game and organizing everything
Right.
and directing
Right.
everything.
Didn't you have me record a line at ASIN?
Yeah,
Yes.
but even still, I was missing a line.
That's a fun
Hypocrite.
fact I didn't know.
So technically, I was the last person to record in the game.
Wow! What?
You got paid. Shut up.
Michaela, I wanted to ask you another question about Seduce Me 1 going into Seduce Me 2. Were there any particular pieces of feedback from the fans or from the players that you received from Seduce Me 1 that helped to shape Seduce Me 2?
Oh.
What were some of those big ones? What were some of the big ones, I guess?
The biggest ones were because of the time constraint that I had with Seduce Me 1. A lot of it was copy and paste. A lot of it was like, oh, you could have gone through one route and you could have gone through them all. And so they were all pretty much the same scene, the same route, the same time. There really wasn't a difference between the guys, which made me really mad because I tried to differentiate you guys so much. So when it came to Seduce Me 2, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm spending like most of my day, like 12 hours a day, making sure all of the routes are very different, making sure that everyone has a very different experience. They all have different problems. Okay, so I had to take care of that. And then the other one was not a lot of choices were able to be made during Seduce Me 1. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have like 50 choices, each route.
Mm-hmm.
Each route have like 50 choices. Have fun. So I do listen to like everyone's opinions about it. Even like there are a couple videos online that kind of make fun of Seduce Me, because it is a dating sim for girls and all that stuff. And so they did it for publicity. Hey, guess what? Free advertising. So nothing like that. There's no such thing as bad advertising.
If you're on the internet,
so-
they're gonna make fun of you.
That's true.
Essentially. So that's why I'm like, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know, because most people, well, like, you know, there's a big soccer spirit fan base, and
Oh my god. But anyways, with that, so I listened to everyone. So I took bits and pieces from what everyone was talking about, like a lot of the grammar issues, a lot of just the characterizations, and I just kind of put that like, okay, so I'm gonna put that all in Seduce Me 2 and see what they say now. And because Seduce Me 2 has been out for a while, I've gotten comments back like, oh my gosh, she actually fixed everything. Yeah, because I actually listen. So a lot of it is because I do listen. So.
should have put out that Seduce Me 2 like fake version where it's Seduce Me 1 but with like more grammatical errors and all of us are just trying to speak in like grammatical errors.
Maybe.
We are take over your house now.
You have set us up the bomb.
Woman, let us suck face.
Okay.
That's so grammatically.
Question for the boys.
The boys.
I wanna start with Jonah just in case he has to leave soon.
okay.
Jonah, you're still there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Jonah. So we'll ignore the fact that Damien is my canon romance, but Jonah, my question for you is well for all the guys. Jonah, what do you think was your favorite scene to voice act for on either game, either the first one or the second game?
Easy. The most fun I had was in Seduce Me 2 when Damien finally goes Super Saiyan and he gets his fucking scythe and he kicks ass because I made an acting choice there which Michaela kind of backed up, which was good because I was a little nervous about this, but I changed his voice a little bit. Instead of him being this soft-spoken guy for, you know, the hour or whatever it is that he's changed and leading up to that change, he gets mad and he gets pissed and you can hear it. And it's so much fun playing somebody like that, especially somebody who has you know, that air about them in the beginning and then they change. Character change drives stories, obviously. So I figured it would give it a little bit of extra oomph. That was so much fun to record. I was in there. I probably did 30 takes of each line to make sure it was perfect.
Yeah. I remember when I got to that part because it's a huge moment because, as you know, Damien's very soft-spoken.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he does a complete 180 was really cool to listen to your performance of that.
Thank you.
With Damien as well, just so I can get into more of the story. So spoilers, by the way, big spoilers warning for everybody. It seems like the way that the game is played, the canon ending for Damien is, of course, that he actually does become human
Mm-hmm.
at the end. Do you personally believe that that is the right canon ending for him, or do you think it might have been cooler for him to remain a demon and still have his powers?
I think it really depends on the player character's choice, obviously. But
Right. But for you personally,
for me personally, I kind of think it's sexy if I'm gonna have a demon boyfriend. But you gotta take the good with the bad, and
yeah.
you got to dating this person. I'd want them to be happy. So whatever makes him happy is what I'm gonna pick, and he's obviously wants to be a human, so logical choice.
Cool.
There, lawyered.
Does any of the other guys want to go next with what your favorite scene was to record?
Well, yeah,
Was like
something I always love noticing is in both games, there's a lot of really great moments and fun moments. One of the best things about being a voice actor in this case is to see the people's reactions while they're playing the games, and the one I see the most often is actually at the very beginning of the first game. If you play Seduce Me 1, I am the first voice you hear in the whole, like, hey, type in your name, this is the game type thing. And you just see so many people get going into the game. They're like, all right, we're going to play the game. It's going to be great. And then you hear my voice, the first thing that comes up, why, hello there. And everyone's just like, okay. And I'm just going, aren't you a gorgeous sight? They're like, oh God.
Oh my God, that's so fucking true, though.
That is true.
Right?
So it's always fun just seeing people's first reaction. They're like, all right, it's gonna be this kind of game. Okay.
Yeah. You set the tone. You set the stage. That's a very good point.
I know that we had to open with the seductive one. You know, it's called Seduce Me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the title.
Title drop.
It's in the game.
Chris, with Erik specifically, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe his storyline in the second game at least was about Orabel.
Yes.
That was the Orabel one. Okay. My question for you with Erik is, do you think that, first of all, Michaela, if you wrote it, I was completely the plot twist of you completely pulled the wool over me, because when I got to the part where the music is the feels music is playing and Orabel's like, oh my gosh, you're my sister, and blah 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 blah, just like, I'm going to kill you. Like that was beautifully well done.
Thank you.
Chris, like, do you think that with Erik that he was sympathetic towards Orabel, or do you think that he just cared for the main character too much, that he was like, no, just screw Orabel, I'm just protecting her no matter what?
For me, it seemed a lot more like that second option, because we finally gotten to a point with Erik. If you've played the first game, he was raised to be the perfect incubus, the seductive type, the perfect sex demon. So by the time you get to Seduce Me 2, he's finally broken through that shell of, oh, this is actually a woman I can love for reals, and she can love me back. Sort of I can be a real person around her. And then Orabel just shows up, starts doing her little icky man thing, and he's like, oh, no. You are not going to freaking screw this up for me. Get out. So I think for me it seemed a lot more the second option. But by the time we get to the end, you do learn a bit more about Orabel and everything. So, yeah.
One of my favorites got cut out of the game. But...
You know what? Don't even start that. Don't even start that.
Yeah. So there's a song called "Chain the Monster."
Oh, you're
yes.
Okay.
And
you sing that. You actually sing that.
Whoever.
Alejandro, you sing that.
no, I don't sing it.
You kind of do
I've
near the
sung
end
it.
of the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
you sing it near the end of his storyline in the first game. Yeah.
did you keep the line in, Michaela?
Different line.
Okay. Well, basically, so there's this point where Sam is confessing to the character.
The character. Mhm.
Yeah, and the line is basically the song, but without singing it. So it's like,
Did it rhyme?
No.
it was just ridiculous. And the best part about it was, the thing was, like, I was like, gonna go really serious at this. But then, like, she put in parentheses as my direction, if you laugh, I will fucking kill you. So, the fact that she wrote that already is like, what could possibly go wrong? And then it's like, you chain the monster deep inside, and then I'm like, ah! I laughed, and I'm like, shit! I'm gonna die. So I'm like, well, I should probably just not record the rest of this because I'm gonna be dead. But
That's when he took off another layer of clothing too.
Yeah, no, honestly,
that's actually when he ripped off a layer of his skin.
Right, just like Michaela, here's
It's
my
like a
tape.
snake.
Stop.
But no, like genuinely, apart from the one that got cut out, like I do like a lot. I like the just towards the end of Seduce Me too. But honestly, I just like how Sam in the first one has like moments where it's like I love you. Probably like the epilogue where they're like dancing in the sky.
Mhm.
That was really cool. I really like that scene because I'm like, ah, I got to be touchy feely. Shit. You know, I don't have to yell for once in my fucking life.
There you go.
Like,
But
wait,
yeah.
am I actually talking this line?
Right? Like it's like
Yes.
it's like I love you, and I'm like, oh, I felt it. But yeah, you know, honestly, I like Sam when he's not the brute.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah, I totally agree, and a lot of my viewers agree that a huge part of the appeal of Sam is that outwardly, you know, he is this brutish kind of guy
Right.
who yells a lot. So I guess my question to you is, how do you, when you're actually recording for him, because you know your range has to be, you know, wide enough such that you can do the really angry parts, but you can also do all the sentimental parts. Like, how do you get into the mindset to actually do some of the more like touchy-feely moments with him?
That's actually personal, because I've experienced what Sam has. Like, I've experienced love, and I've fallen out of love. So that's how me personally I can get into that. I just recall when I was in love, and honestly, I just picture it once again. It's a memory that I've had. So, I mean, I don't know, it might be kind of screwed up in the head, but that's how I usually get into like moments like that involve certain emotion, like not just like the ones where it's like, oh, I have to be touchy-feely, or, you know, I have to be depressed because a family, like the one I care about passed, you know. I use all the memories that I've had, and I apply that to my acting. It's sad that I've had to experience it, but like, you know, I take what I can get. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but
No, I'm just like.
That
Yeah,
old maxim, use it. Just use it.
what I'm trying to get across is that I cherish every moment, and I try to express it through my acting.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because in all seriousness, and I know that Brad was kind of joking around about this earlier, but when you guys are actually doing those scenes where your character actually says, I love you and I care about you, during my actual LP of it, constantly, with every single character, every single guy and Diana, I've made comments like, wow, I actually believe that. Like, I actually believe
Oh, that's such
that
a
this
compliment.
love actually exists.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
no, I've said that so many times.
Can I
It's
actually
like,
say
wow,
that?
these guys. I'm sorry, go ahead, Michaela.
I'm gonna shower these guys in flower petals right now. There's a reason why I picked these guys. A lot of people, if you watch me on the internet, like, I'll comment so much on like people, judge people and all that stuff. And the reason I cast these guys is not just because they can fit the characters into a bow, but I actually believe them. So me being a female who's straight, no boyfriend, with all these wonderful guys telling me that they love me, I'm like, if you don't make me like want to tear through the screen and get to you, if you can't do that, you don't belong in my cast.
What are you
All
good
of them
for?
exceeded- all of them, no, like,
Earn your
all
fucking
of them
cape.
exceeded my expectation. It's like
Yeah.
it's really mind blowing when I go back and remember like directing them and like talking to them about their characters and listening to them record. The fact that they're all putting in the extra effort to make me believe that the characters are actually saying what they're saying. It's funny because the one time that I figured it out, that it kind of clicked for me, it was when they all recorded the thank you note for the backers on the Kickstarter, and I'm like, they all sound like brothers. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? It was so weird. Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I actually have to thank you guys a lot for that, because there are so many people who play this game, and I know, you can joke. A lot of people like to joke about the fact that it's a dating sim, but there are girls and some guys who are playing this game who either aren't in a relationship or are hurting romantically, and they just need an escape, and they just need to, just for a moment, to just believe that somebody actually cares about them. And even though it's fiction, the fact that you guys, when you're delivering these lines, and I'm constantly saying, man, like Jonah was spot on that, or Ethan was spot on that delivery. I have said those words during my LPs. It was something I had to step back and say, these guys are like knocking this out of the park. Go ahead, Brad.
Thanks, man. I just want to Chris brings up a good point. Yeah, I make a lot of jokes about the game, but it is worth noting that, like, I 100% agree with you that I think, some games are just, going back to my earlier joke about Soccer Spirit, some of them are legitimately just porn, and that's fine, that fits in its own demographic, but for games like Seduce Me the Otome games, that tend to have a more emotional variety. I know one of the original earlier ones that isn't, I believe, Otome in the genre, but like Clannad is a more famous one. You can have like really driving, emotional, important narratives whenever it comes to these games, and they are a form of emotional comfort. And I got a message from a fan who was very sick, and Michaela told me about her through. I heard about her through Michaela. She was very sick, and I recorded like a message saying, as James, how much we care about you, how much you matter, how much we feel that you are a good person, and that you should feel that way about yourself. And I'll freely admit I'm an idiot. I will screw up recordings by just being a moron. But I do genuinely, whenever I play James, I think all of us do whenever we play our characters, try to go in with the mindset of, yeah, I'm an idiot whenever I'm doing this because I'm essentially just kind of making noises into a microphone, but we are giving people something that is really important, and we are feeling legitimate emotional things. Because like when you're acting, you need to feel that. If you don't, to some degree, feel what you need to feel for the scene, then you're not going to sound genuine, and it's not going to sound real. And for the people that, as much as I make fun of myself and James and everything about Seduce Me, I am like, it is apparently giving people comfort, and I think that a lot of it is positive emotional reinforcement for giving people the feeling that they can connect to these characters, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
No one should undermine that. You can make fun of anything, everything in the universe can be made fun of, but like I don't think there's anything wrong with dating sims or like escapism whenever it's to this healthy degree.
Yeah. When my viewers like recommended me that I play this game, that I let's play this game, I have to admit I wasn't sure what to expect, because when they were saying it's about incubus, and I'm like, oh really?
Yeah, on
okay.
paper.
So I wasn't sure how serious of it was going to be. I wasn't sure if there was like how like sexually like it was emphasized. But then when I was playing through the game, I actually broke down crying during my Let's Play. I broke down crying during the grandfather death scene.
Oh yeah, that's
I say Grandpa is my favorite.
My own grandfather had passed away recently when I played that game, and I actually like put a little video of my grandpa in the middle of my Let's Play when that happened, because I just stopped it, because I just started crying during my Let's Play. But what I loved about the series is that it's not just about the sex, it's not just about romance. Like the story is actually really good, and I love how there was a lot of emphasis in the beginning during the intro of the second game, how all of the sex scenes, for example, are completely consensual. You don't have to do them at all. You can just skip them completely and still have a very fulfilling game, which I think is very, very important, because I have played a lot of dating sims before, and some of them are really, really in your face. Okay, we're gonna have sex now, and the only way you can get the perfect ending is if you just shack up with whoever it is you need to shack up with.
Look at my boobs!
Or shack up with all of them.
Shout out to Honey Pop!
Good old.
So I guess I have to say that I appreciate you guys not only making a game that is dramatic as well as humorous, but something that is so much more than meets the eye.
Tasteful. It's very tastefully
Yeah,
done.
it's very tasteful, and I have all of you guys to thank for that.
If only the writer were here, though, we could thank.
I know what you're talking
Gee,
about.
what a shame. What a shame.
This is the live stream where Michaela reveals, no, this is ghost written by like Chinese people. Whole game was put through Google Translate.
College English major students wrote this.
Do you have any tips or advice for people who want to do voice acting, like want to do projects with voice acting?
Oh boy. All right. Yeah. No, I've answered this question a lot this week. Oh man. First of all, if it's what you want to do, like, don't ever stop. Keep going. Like, you don't understand. I've been through quite a trip to fulfill this dream. I now voice act for Funimation, and I didn't think I was gonna do that so soon or ever. But yeah, I started 4 years ago, and I was originally studying animation, and I realized when I was actually doing it that it wasn't what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was voice acting. So if you're gonna go for voice acting, be prepared, because some projects do not pay a lot. But just know that it is so worth it if it's what you truly love. Any job that you truly love will be totally worth it if you just keep at it and you're determined. As for tips, I recommend listening to iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. That's by D. Bradley Baker. There's a podcast known as Voice Acting Mastery by Crispin Freeman.
Talking Tunes is pretty good too. If you want
Talking Tunes is also really cool by Rob Paulson, right?
Yeah, Rob Paulson.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
There's the voiceover book by Yuri Lowenthal and Terrified.
Yeah, there's so much. But, like, as ironically enough that I'm going to suggest this, even though I kind of complained about it earlier, if you're going to audition for a project, whether it be a shonen, the fighter, any shonen project, and it says, I need a death yell or a yell or an attack, or like, do not, for the love of God, hold back. No one wants to hear.
My mom is asleep in the next room. Scream.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom is asleep in the next room.
Listen, my mom's asleep. I don't want to wake her up. So here's my Vegeta.
Yeah. Find time and put your soul into it, because if you don't, it'll show that you haven't. So when you're gonna audition, record for a project, put your whole heart into it, because it shows.
Thank you, Alejandro.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody will appreciate hearing that, because I know there's tons of people who definitely want to get into that.
Yeah,
Brad, you're
for
raising
sure.
your hand?
The question: if you have red hair and you have no soul, what do you do?
Then you keep pushing until you find a soul.
Okay.
You just do
Okay,
it.
thanks, man. That's really
You have to
reassuring.
steal somebody else's soul.
Oh shit, you're right.
Steal Alejandro's. He sounds like he's got a good one.
Oh yeah. I'll be Alejandro. I'll be meeting you outside your house here in about 10 minutes.
I also have to go, but I gotta go right now. So,
Okay.
Love you all.
thank you for having me.
Hey, Alejandro.
Thank you so much, Alejandro.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
See ya. Jonah, since I only have you for another 10 minutes, I did have a viewer who wanted to ask a question about, do you have any future projects that you personally are working on?
Yeah, actually, I'm in a card game. I think I can talk about this.
Okay.
Hold on. Yes, I can talk about this.
Okay, just making sure.
I am multiple voices. There is probably 7 other. And they're huge. I think I can name them. Yeah, I'm gonna name drop them anyway. Yuri Lowenthal's in it with me. What's his name? He's got big arms. Well, Greg Ayers is in it too. Anyway, it's a card game in the same vein as Hearthstone, and I voice 4 or 5 different characters. I'm their Troy Baker knockoff.
Oh,
So-
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wait, Jonah, is it out?
It's not out yet. It'll be out Q1 of next year.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wait, what's the name of the game?
Rune Wards.
Oh shit, I'm in that too.
Are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not.
No, you
I'm like a
shit,
bunch of
really?
junior-
What
Wow.
the fuck?
Shit,
Why
I
didn't
didn't
you
know
tell
those
me?
guys were in it. That's awesome.
Yeah. They got a bunch of
Yeah,
other.
that's fun.
It kind of trickled down.
Uh,
There's a couple of other
there
things I'm
over
doing
here.
with Michaela that I'll let her talk at her own discretion when I leave.
Sure.
And I am in a couple of games that I am not allowed to talk about. A lot of this shit I'm not allowed to talk about. Jesus.
Hey, welcome to the life of a voice act.
Voice actor.
that's the
Welcome
best
to
part.
being a dev on games.
But if you want me to voice anything you want, there is a probably 50-50 chance that I'll voice whatever you send me in my Tumblr Ask box when I get
Oh.
the chance.
Jonah, I need to talk to you privately later.
Oh my god.
But yeah, when I'm moving out to Los Angeles here at the end of this month.
Really?
Yeah, and that's where the auditions are.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Hey, man,
Yeah,
I'm out in
the
LA
auditions
area.
are going out there, and yeah, hopefully it'll get a little bit more work. But like Alejandro said, the jobs in the very beginning don't pay too well. The best paying job, and I've gotten professional shit like studio stuff before, but the best paying job I've gotten is some stuff from Michaela. So,
That's true.
Wow.
That's absolutely
so
true.
I mean,
Because I treat my talents well.
she does.
Michaela
She
does
pays
shoot as
industry
well.
standard. She pays industry standard every time, and
Every
it ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me.
Jonah, may I make before you go? May I make a personal request of you?
Of course.
So my character's name in the game is a female version of my name, Harkura.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds Japanese too. Can you say in Damien's voice, "I love you, Harkura"?
Harkura?
Yeah, Harkura.
Okay.
Yes.
I love you, Harkura.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very
That
welcome.
made my day. That absolutely made my day. I'm gonna have to insert that into my playthrough somewhere.
You are free to do so.
It's canon.
Thank you.
Startup noise.
It's canon.
Start your computer.
It's canon now.
Make sure to use,
Yes.
make sure to use OOG files.
Yes. Jonah, thank you so much. It's such an honor having you here.
You're very welcome.
And yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing what the other projects that you work on, and maybe we'll be able to talk in an interview format for other things too.
I hope so. I would love to talk to you again. All right?
Okay, awesome, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Michaela, I'll see you
All right.
later. And Chris, I got to send you stuff, so I'll see you later.
Yes.
Love it to pieces, Jonah. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah.
See you, Jonah. I will also say, since Jonah just left, he's an excellent audio engineer. I'm having him do some work for me right now.
Oh yeah. That too.
What just for people to know, like really quickly, Chris, what does an audio engineer or sound designer do, really quickly? For people who don't know.
Well, I actually almost went into sound design since I also do music. A lot of the times they go hand in hand with game development. But at least for a game like this for Michaela, I know for sound design he actually has digital programs and different recording equipment that he can use to not only create digital sound files from basic sound manipulation, but he can also record live audio for as what's called Foley sound, Foley design. And he can record it, edit it, make it work however he needs. Oftentimes it's done a lot in films to sync perfectly to video. As a recording engineer, he and I are actually both certified recording engineers through a company called Avid and their product Pro Tools. So, for instance, a studio could hire someone like him to run all of their recording software, to set up all of the microphones and all of the hardware and equipment to just get the best possible sound. So,
Cool. Thank you for that explanation, because I wasn't sure myself.
Mhm.
Hannah asks, what goes into the process of designing the main protagonist for an Otome game, considering that you have to cater to a lot of different personality and tastes, a lot of personalities and taste preferences?
Actually, when it came around to that, I didn't think of Otome main characters. I wanted, because being that I've played a lot of Otomes, I kind of gotten the hint that the main protagonists usually in Otomes are very helpless, very, oh my gosh, things are happening, what do I do? And I find that to be bullshit. I find that to be nasty. I find that to be like, you know what? That is a pathetic excuse of a character. Let's give her
the early Disney princess.
Yeah,
the early Disney princesses.
Essentially. Yes. So when it came around to me making Mika, I was like, okay, let's build her in a realistic situation. If she is thrown into this world where demons exist, her grandfather is a wizard, and she's like, whoa, oh my god, she'd act like someone you'd meet on the street who would be freaked out, but has a bit of courage to say, okay, hold the fuck on. Hold on. Can we get some logic out of this? That's why with Seduce Me 1, instead of her being like, oh my god, all these hot men in my house or whatever, she's like, excuse me, you can't kiss me like that. Screw you, slap. What are you doing? That's why you get the option to slap him again.
I'll always vote Smack Sam.
Always vote Smack Sam. But it came to, like, giving her just a backbone, I think. Because not a lot of, in my personal opinion, this is opinion, please don't hold this against me, a lot of Otome heroines don't have a backbone. And I'm like, you know what, Mika's going to have a backbone. She's going to fight, she's going to claw for what she wants. There are obviously some moments where she's like, I really don't know what to do. But in that situation, like, I imagine any human being would be like, what do? I don't know.
Right.
So it's just trying to mix the realism with the whole spiciness of her character to where she can kick ass if she wants to. Only if she wants to. So yeah.
I was very pleased through both games when Mika, or the main character, did have the ability to fight. I loved that, and it was a very refreshing thing, because again, I played a number of other dating sims, and that wasn't, like you said, wasn't always the case. So thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of women appreciated that too as well.
Yeah.
Jonathan Sawyer wanted to ask, so during the and I kind of want to know this as well. During your Kickstarter campaign for Seduce Me 2, there was a stretch goal to actually try to include a male protagonist.
Yes.
And maybe actually have a same gender opportunity that was male on male instead of just female on female with Diana.
Correct.
So his question was, with the same Kickstarter page stated that future products will most likely be funded from sales instead of crowdfunding, would a hypothetical Seduce Me 3 or other future project have a better chance of finally including a male-to-male same-gender romance, do you think?
It's actually hilarious because I was talking about this with the crew, and I posted publicly about it. I've actually been very hesitant about making a Seduce Me 3, which is essentially the human heart, which have the human routes and all that stuff. When it comes to like Seduce Me 2 with the Incubi, their stories are done. And I literally cannot continue on with them because I see nothing further than what I've already done. Other than like the Otome CD, which will come out hopefully sometime next year. But when it came around to that, like when it comes to them, like, oh, the Incubi children, oh, their families, or where they're gonna go, my brain stops right where at the end of the war, because that's all I can see. When it comes to the human routes, I'm kind of half and half because I feel like Seduce Me 1 had a solid ending for where they can go, because you can essentially infer that they're gonna have a great happy life together. They can, you can work with a casino with Suzu, or you can go to France with Naomi. You could run the company with Andrew, blah blah, things like that. But at the same time, they are as important as the Incubi. That's why I was thinking about continuing on. But I'm still on the fence with that. I can't confirm or deny whether or not that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the male protagonist, that was definitely something I really wanted to consider, because I know a lot of male gamers wanted to go and like, okay, we can totally have I could be my Incubi's boyfriend, or I can do all that stuff. Even like some transgender players are just kind of like, oh my god, I can actually feel comfortable within my skin playing this character, and that's what I've essentially wanted to do. But it takes a lot of programming, it takes a lot of double voice acting.
Of course.
That's why that funding stretch goal needed to happen in order for me to do that.
Yeah.
So.
And And honestly, I think that something like that might be better suited for a future project that's not necessarily within that universe, like a completely different game entirely.
Yes.
Michaela, I just wanted to tell you that I think that if you ever were to make a dating sim that included, it didn't have to be like the main theme of the game, but if you did one that actually included an option for male and male, like gender, I would love to play it just because I believe you would treat and handle that material maturely and with respect. Because I have played other games again that are male on male, and it treats the subject matter in a way that is it's a little stereotypical.
Yeah.
You know, like coming on top. I don't know if you've ever played that one.
Yes, I have.
I love the game, but there's a lot more emphasis
Oh, yeah.
on the sex in that one.
With a name like that, I wonder what it's about.
Yes. and a lot of it, I think, is because the LGBT culture, especially when it comes to gay men, there's the stereotype that, you know, that's what we want in a game, that's all we want in a game, and that's very much not the case. And so if you ever did come up with a project like that, I believe that you would treat it in such a way that I think would be eye-opening and revolutionary, because I can't think of any other like game off the top of my head where that really is the case. Because another one that I played recently was, I forgot, it was a sci-fi one, and that was just, they had a great story, and then all of a sudden you got forced into really like nude sexy scenes, and I'm like, whoa, this is not.
I think
this
I
is
know
not
which
what
one
the-
you're talking about.
Starfighter Eclipse, I think.
Yeah.
I think people
I heard
had
of
me
that
play
one.
that just because they knew it would make me blush, and I was like, oh god,
I've heard
this
of
is
that
why they
one.
want me.
Yeah,
I think
Starfighter's pretty movie. And actually, I'm going to spoil it for you. I am working on something like that.
Oh,
I am working where the main character is male or female, depending on how.
or female.
But it's essentially in a fantasy universe. And the main portion of the pairings that you can go is male on male. Because I do agree that there's enough. To me, there's enough stories that deal with the whole sexual
Yeah.
culture of the LGBT community. When we're like, let's bring it back
Yeah.
to reality.
I agree.
Yeah.
Please tell me where I can throw my money at. Please tell me.
I'm already throwing my money at it.
By
Don't even worry
buying
about it.
Seduce Me Too.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people are going to be very happy to hear that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You asked Michaela where you could throw your money, and I would just like to point out, on behalf of all indie devs everywhere, if you love the content that a developer makes, please,
Yeah.
dear God, buy
Yes.
it.
I agree.
Support,
Yes.
support the artists that you love, because without
Yeah.
your support, they cannot make any more, and that's not
Yeah.
what you want. So,
Yes.
And if you've
in
already bought
every
Seduce,
aspect, music, games, anything.
and if you've already bought Seduce Me 2, there is a website that Michaela has where there are multiple other games you can purchase and check out.
Exactly.
Wink, wink.
Exactly.
Nudge, nudge.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. This is from Hannah. She asks, was there anything major that you really wished to include in Seduce Me 2 that you just couldn't do because of time or funding?
There was one thing that I wanted to add to Seduce Me Too, but I took it out because after talking with some of the cast, they agreed that it was a little too far of a stretch of where the story should go. Basically, battle strategy. Because I wanted the player not only to experience their romance, but I wanted them to actually be physically part of the war. So instead of just training with a trainer and then going through a side route and oh my gosh, you're safe, you're there at the castle. I was gonna have moments where like the rebel leaders do meet up and pretty much plot out how they're going to go through this war. Who's gonna go in the front? Who's gonna stay in the back? Who's going to do healing? Who's gonna do
That's
attacks?
interesting.
And
Seduce Me RPG, yes.
and in my mind, what I really wanted to do was to hire a 3D designer to do a sketch, like not like sketch, like a design of the castle, basically the Demon Lord's castle, and a bunch of
okay.
little figures of like the armies that would be involved. And basically Mika would step in at the wrong time all of the time because it's Mika's luck. And she would see like Shadow or Sergeant fighting it out, like, no, we gotta do this, no, we gotta do that, or it's like they're all at a standstill what they want to do, and basically Mika would be like trying to help out. And the more she did this, the more powerful, like the more smarter she became. And in the long before even that happened, I wanted Mika to actually be in the battle. Like I wanted her to be one of the soldiers in the battle and have quick time events of just like block, dodge, block, dodge,
Nice.
block, dodge. But in the scope of it, I'm just like, should I? And I'm gonna call it Ethan because Ethan is half of my other brain when it came to like programming all of this.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I looked at Ethan. I'm like, Ethan, should I do this? He's like, no, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, okay. I agree.
I've always said that Michaela's the heart and I'm the brain.
He's the one that pulls me in if I go too far. It's just like, I want to do this. And
We
he's
both
like,
love
"No,
games, and she's got a lot of crazy emotional passion, and I've got the logic for it all.
Oh no, there are some days where I just kind of like look at the chat with me and Ethan. I'm just like, Ethan, why can't you just agree with me? But then like the next day when I wake up, I'm like,
I will.
you know, he's right.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, mainly it was just that I wanted to add in.
Gotcha.
And there's actually a character that I wanted to add, but I couldn't because of time constraints and funding. Ugh.
Oh, a character from the first game, you
No,
mean?
a new character actually.
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
Actually, yeah, basically, if you finished all 6 routes, at the center was going to be a white light, and if you clicked it, you got played back as if you didn't romance anyone.
Okay.
And
Do you get to romance Simon?
but you suddenly get pounced by a demon hunter, and the demon hunter's kind of wondering who the heck you are, and that would spawn the whole like, what are you doing? You're blah 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 blah. There's a war going on. Why are you sensing with magic? Blah 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 blah. And it was gonna be a very different storyline, but it's gonna be like on the outside of the war, watching it happen. And during
Gotcha.
that, there were boys who were gonna die. Well, some of the boys would have died. Diana definitely would have died. But just things would have happened. But I'm like, too much.
I almost thought that you said that you were going to add another romance for Sero. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to say Sero's name because during my entire playthrough
Hotness.
I've never referred to him as I've always called him Hotness throughout the entire time because they were coming up. It was when they were coming up with the nicknames for all the soldiers, all the whatever you call them, your advisors, and I was like, before they brought up Sarah, I was like, oh, well, what are you gonna call that guy? You're just gonna call him Hotness? And then when they said his name is Sarah, I was like, no, I don't want to call him Sarah. I'm gonna call him Hotness. So the entire playthrough, he's Hotness.
my favorite
I
character.
refuse to call him. But no, I loved without giving too much away. When I discovered what you could do with Hotness with Sarah during the Diana path. What you could do with that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So
That threesome scene was pretty good.
I do.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway,
Okay, so Michaela was telling us that she's developing all these cool new demon generals, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And Camille, the artist, she comes back and she's like, okay, I drew Sero based on Michaela's references, and she puts it in the chat, and we all click on it. And we're like, dude, what the fuck? I want to be Sero. He's so hot. Like, oh my god. Michaela just made this new character that's hotter than all the guys.
do you regret not including a romance for Sarah? Do you regret that at
No,
all?
not at all. No, not at all.
I personally love Sienna. Diaro? How do you what is the proper I don't know what the proper name is for
Sienna.
that. Sienna.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love Sienna. And I during my LP of Diana's story, I kept being like, this is super awkward. I like these two together, but my character's supposed to like Diana. But so I was pleasantly surprised when I was like, why can't we just all three of us? And then I'm like, oh my god, all three of us.
Happy ending.
Wow. So that was pretty fantastic. No, but Michaela, I just want to say thank you so much for not only producing the game and actually being the reason why the game exists in the first place, but for also putting this whole evening together. Like meeting you and all the guys has just been an amazing experience, and I'm again trying really hard to not fangasm too much. Well, it's going. This hopefully didn't show too much.
Fine.
I behaved myself when Jonah showed up. I behaved myself.
Oh no, Jonah does that to everyone. Don't even worry about that.
Yes. Much loves to chat. No, but I love all. No, in all seriousness, all you guys. I loved every single time I played through the other characters. Well, what I love about Seduce Me is with all of the other dating sims that I've ever played, Seduce Me is the only game that I legitimately was interested in genuinely romancing everybody, like all of the characters. Because normally when I go through other dating sims, there's like one or two that I'll get to, and maybe if I have time I'll get through. But with the way that you guys performed your characters and the way that you acted out and presented your characters, I was like, I love all 5 of them. Can't we have an option where there's like a harem and then, well, can we just all... But anyway, I don't want to give anything away. So...
DLC Seduce Me too, just a big pile with protagonist on the bottom.
Oh my god, no, stop!
Tentacles coming out.
DLC path is just called Big
I'm
Old
already having
Pile.
flashbacks now.
Big old pile.
Big OOL apostrophe pile.
Oh my god! No!
So, but yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
I actually have a tie between Seduce Me 1 and Seduce Me 2. I can't remember the context from Seduce Me 1 because it's been... I think I recorded that probably my freshman year of college, and it's a scene where, because like a lot of the funny stuff about James is like, you don't get this a lot in the interview, but I am actually a relatively intelligent man. And I am generally try to be thoughtful and kind of understanding and analytical. And so with a lot of James, even among my friends, there's joking that like a lot of James's dialogue is just how I talk in everyday conversation when I'm not, being a moron. And so there's a scene in Seduce Me 1 where it's the scene where I believe James is trying to explain how incubi work to the main character. And it's the sexual energy scene, but what I liked doing, because like, I too was once a horny teenager. In that scene, the whole time, yeah, like mentally you have, because you read like James is like sitting there with the book, and then she's like, so sexual energy. You hear him like gripping the chair or like holding on to something, where he's like, sexual energy is just something that we incubi take in, and the whole scene is just like more and more like, don't cross your legs. Don't show her you have an erection. Don't show her you have an erection. Don't show her you have an erection. So just the whole time you just have to like challenge. Yes, we need sexual energy, but it's not a requirement. We can definitely hold it in as I'm like standing there grabbing my leg. Like don't just jump on top of her. And that's like a fun like mental trick to play, because you can't convey that. It's not like I can be standing there by the microphone going. And yes, I do need inside. Like it's like a fun thing to just convey with your voice. I am so horny right now, but I'm really trying not to be.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
I have to ask Brad, because you were mentioning your girlfriend.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So does well, your girlfriend, you said, has played the game with you, right?
Yes,
right.
she prefers Sam.
So she's played through Sam. So did she eever turn to you and be like, doggone it, Sam's better than you? Like, did she ever turn to you?
Like I have gotten commentary from her like, God, because I generally like.
Why can't you be like Sam?
If we go out to like restaurants, I'm like, what do you want to do? If it's like we go see, what do you want to do? And she's just like, God, Sam is just so like actually assertive. You learn things. It's like more interesting that way, and I'm like, So that's that conversation. So yes,
Brad, the answer is simple. Just yell more.
Just God fucking damn it.
When she first heard that you were voice acting for a dating sim that involved incubi and had these really racy scenes, like, how did your girlfriend react initially to that? Did she think it was cool, or was she like, okay, whatever, honey?
At that point, she was a big fan of Hotchiful Boyfriend, so she knew about Otome games. I think she was just like, oh, and then I told her the premise, and she just laughed at me. I believe one of the first things she said was, "You can't tell your family."
So your family hopefully doesn't know about it.
My mom and my siblings.
Oh God.
know.
Oh God, has your
And
mom
they were
played
like, You
it?
shouldn't have told us. And my grandparents, like whenever I went to
Your
ASIN,
grandparents?
when I went to ASIN, I told them the other game that I'm in, which actually Ethan got me the job in, is Ace Academy, which is also available on Steam. I just straight up lied and said, yeah, I went to Anime Central for Ace Academy. So I didn't show them the pictures of the shirt or anything. I'm just like, I don't need my I screwed up because they might know now because I'm like, oh yeah, I have an IMDb page now, and then like I show them the IMDb page. If you look me up, the first thing you see is known for Seduce Me and Seduce Me Too. Yeah, that's my IMDb page. I hit back as soon as I fucking could. I'm not sure.
I can only imagine because if you don't know that's a video game, all you're looking is looking at the title. Like, what the heck is Brad doing?
I haven't gotten a letter yet from my grandfather going, so I'm very disappointed to see you.
Chris and Ethan, do your parents and grandparents know about the game? About your involvement in the game?
I think my parents know. I try not to say the title around them too often.
How about?
Okay, so fun story. My girlfriend is actually originally started out as a fan of Seduce Me, and that's how we met.
Nice.
Really?
Her dad didn't really like me that much, and so he looked me up, and like the first thing that popped up was like Ethan Nakashima, known for the game Seduce Me, and he's like, this guy.
Oh God!
But
you voice act the innocent one. You're the innocent one.
Until you see that CG from Seduce Me 2 with
that's
a shirt like that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that like.
So that's my parents in Seduce Me story. But yeah, otherwise my parents are like, I just explain like it's like a romance novel, but it's a visual romance novel, and they're like, oh, well that's kind of weird, but okay, you make money, whatever, you do you, man.
you make money. Chris, how about you?
Well,
do your parents?
Mine's especially fun because, as some people know, me and my family, we're Mormon and extremely religious.
Gotcha.
So, bringing up that topic to, hey, I'm in a game called Seduce Me. It's teen appropriate. There's like I had this all planned out in my head before I was telling anyone. I'm like, okay, it's a game. I play a demon. It's an incubus. You've heard them in Legend. I avoid saying the word sex demon. I'm just like, yeah, it's an incubus. It's it's teen appropriate. 16 plus, no nudity. I don't swear at all. I don't do any of this or this or this or this. Oh yeah, and I voice the seductive one. Though I actually don't think my grandparents know about it. My parents do know about it, and it's so funny too. So the music for the second game is a lot more orchestral, as you may have noticed, and some members of my family actually wanted to submit it to local classical radio stations to be like, we have a local composer. He's written all of this new orchestral music. It's so awesome. And so I'm like, all right, let's get some stuff. We'll send it to them. All right, we're sending in a folder. So this is from a game you've worked on, right? Yeah, what is it called?
Seduce Me
But this
Too,
isn't
or the
actually
Demon War.
This isn't actually talking to the radio station. This is talking to my stepmom, and she's like, "So what game is this called?" I'm like, "It's from Seduce Me." Does it have like a subtitle we can use instead? It's called The Demon War.
The Demon War.
The Demon War.
Okay. So we just decided to call it The Works of Christopher Escalante.
A very pragmatic title.
Oh, yes.
Or you could have just called it SMDW and be done with it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, shit. I actually have a very quick story related to actually showing family members commentating on me playing, because my sister is very internet savvy. Her favorite thing for a while was looking up Let's Plays of Seduce Me by teenage girls and showing me the parts where the girls would listen to James go, "Oh my gosh, So my sister would stand there and just laugh at me. Going, this is what you are now. You are a 19-year-old man. How do you feel about 14-year-old girls liking you?
How does it feel to be?
You can't really describe with any specific adjective how you feel in that moment. It's not proud and it's not ashamed. It's somewhere
Teenage
really.
boy band audience.
Hey man,
Ashamed.
you're not the one who plays a 12-year-old.
That's
so.
true. That is true. I'm not the pedo bait, but
You're not the youngest one, though. Matthew's not the youngest.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the great irony. The other scene that I really like is I hate spoiling it because it's the end of the game. I won't explain the context. Like you can just completely remove this.
Right.
The end of James's route and Seduce Me 2 is I won't give why, I don't give context. He fights an angel, and both on a visceral level of I love like a lot of what I did before I did professional voiceover was I tried to do like Dragon Ball Z dubs. So I love just like screaming my lungs out, and it was like super awesome. And I have loved this is a weird show to like whenever you're a kid. I love Neon Genesis Evangelion ever since I was little. So on a visceral level, saying I'm fighting angels in a video game, I'm like, yeah. So I'm like awesome. Standing there, and I actually record with this. Well, you can't really see it 'cause it's right next to it, but I record with a microphone under a blanket in a porta booth. So I'm standing there in my dorm room under a blanket in my porta booth, going, "Oh man, I'm fighting angel." You will not hurt her, and I'm just like in between saying, "Oh."
That's adorable.
People are walking past the dorm room going, "What the frick?"
I've had to. Hey, like if you think that the worst I've ever gotten with that was, I was recording for a parody I made called Soul Cheater. I believe I screamed the line, "You have to twist my nipples perfectly symmetrically." That one I actually got a couple RAs asking if I was okay.
Wait, that was in the script somewhere?
Yeah. That's a separate thing. That's
I must have missed that.
Your context, look up Soul Cheater, and you'll find something.
Yeah, no, that's not in Seduce Me.
That's not
okay.
There's a line where James shouts to twist his nipples.
I don't remember that option.
That's something that James would be into, though.
Request it on.
Michaela's not here. We can just make that canon. That's just canon.
Just record that, my lady.
Just record it. Put it in the game. If you want to edit, go into the Ren'Py files. I'll record it for you and send you the line.
Brad, what I'll do is I'll actually just take that clip of you saying it and just add it to my Let's Play. Just add it to Let's Play.
Absolutely. You have 100% creative permission. Don't tell me beforehand. Send it to her.
Oh, it'll be an Easter egg she might find later.
We'll good.
Right. Ethan,
go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Ethan, why don't you go ahead and answer your question?
Okay.
The question about your favorite scene to record.
I think I really liked. I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I really like the scenes where Matthew is probably the least Matthew. Not that I don't like Matthew. Matthew's awesome. But I really like the sadistic Matthew scenes where I just get to like I don't know, there's something great about Matthew, this like sweet little Matthew. He's so happy
opening a can
of toys and he's like, "Hey, let's play a game." And then he's like, "But first I'm gonna tie you up." And then and it's just like, I don't know. I like it's kind of it's just like a sick twisted little pleasure.
You tie him to the radiator and grape him.
Did I wanted to ask you, Ethan, since Michaela's not here. Did Michaela? I was actually, and I think many players of the game were surprised / confused as to why Matthew wasn't actually the youngest one, because just visual, I was like, yeah, he's totally the youngest one, and then I was told, no, Damien's actually the youngest one, and like, did she explain to you why that? Like, was that on purpose? Did she purposely not want her?
As you know, like all the boys have different mothers. Part of it's just genetics. Part of it is just that's just kind of the way he grew up.
Right.
I'm pretty sure like he was very much like a mama's kind of boy, and Damien actually probably had a rougher life, so he had more of a chance to grow up. But you know, it's just, I think it's just more of like a personality thing, you know. Matthew's very easygoing, happy-go-lucky. I don't think that there's like particularly. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit less cliche.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is, and like you said, it's kind of like a neat little surprise. It's like, oh yeah, Matthew's the youngest. Like, oh wait, no, he's not. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. Yeah, because what I love about his storyline, and when you actually, well, you or him actually say how upset. Well, yeah, how I love the dialogue when he's actually talking about how frustrated he is because even
yes.
Damien treats him
my
as the
God, that
youngest. Like
line-
everybody treats him as the baby or the youngest,
Yeah,
and it
that
just
line
drives
was
him
actually
nuts.
really cool because I was like, oh my God, man, I feel you because like I'm not the youngest. I'm very close with all my cousins. We're basically brothers, and like sometimes I feel like the baby, even though I am technically second youngest, or like
Right.
there's one guy below me, but he's just they're all like so smart, and I'm just like I am so tired of being the dumb one here, and I could really actually relate to him. So that line was actually kind of like cathartic for me, but it's. That was actually a really cool emotional line because I was like, I get you, Matthew.
Gotcha. Matthew is a very close second favorite character of mine. He was the second person I romanced because I latched. You were just very adorable. You were just adorable. His character's just adorable
Yeah.
in a good way. Like as you said, he is very childlike, but the fact that his maturity sometimes exceeds some of the other guys even in certain cases was very cool. I think my personal favorite Matthew scene was in Seduce Me 1 when you first give the toy to Mika or to the main character and she tries to give it back to you and you're like, I don't want it. You're trying to give it to me? Like the way you said that, I almost fell off the floor laughing. I was like, oh God, Ethan, that was so good.
Thank you.
It's like, what? You're giving it back to me? What?
Yeah.
I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, I was just like, I just gave the worst gift, and I realized that. How would I react if someone just says like, maybe you take it?
Yeah.
I was just like, well.
I love the role. I love how Michaela decided to continue putting Tom into the storyline, and he actually had a pretty big role in the second game.
Yeah,
so
I actually was not expecting him to be that important, and I was like, oh, he's like actually kind of important in this.
With Seduce Me 1, one of the passwords, one of the angel passwords you put in shows a secret scene where Diana actually transforms Simon into a human. Like, is that canon? I was confused by the meaning of that. Is that canon or is that just for fun?
I think we're saving that for not Seduce Me 3, Seduce Me 4.
Where's my Simon romance? Where's my Simon
Seduce Me 4 is where you date all of Ethan's toys.
Wow.
I think the story behind that is the artist. Don't quote me on this. This is what I think happened. Is the artist she drew just like she was like, what would it look like if Simon was like a human? And so she drew it, and he looked really cool. So they were like, let's just put that in. Like, why not? But yeah, it's as far as I know, it's not canon at all. Looks cool though.
Chris, I wanted to take some time to get in an in-depth conversation with you about the music, about the soundtrack, because it's like I said, it's one of my favorite aspects of the game. Like from the, I mean, I absolutely love all of the piano, like for example, the introductory, the what do you call that? Main menu, the main menu theme.
Yeah, sort of the main menu theme.
As well as obviously the Chain the Monster. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, like the. Are you talking about the piano version or the opening song?
The opening song with the trailer, the one with the rock version. In addition to pretty much every single scene that's meant to be an emotional scene with the background music, like every single one of those was amazingly well done. Did you compose the music? Did you compose the music mainly on your own and then showed it to Michaela, or did she have some direction? Did she give you a direction, or you just kind of went on? She trusted you to create whatever.
Yeah. So what happened for a job like this, and I actually had other clients do this before, is we worked out how many tracks of music we wanted. She gave me a list of basically, all right, here are the types of tracks we need. We need an emotional track. We need a sort of normal background track. We need a slightly creepy, silly one for our little friend Simon Tabby, etc., etc. So she'd give me a list of that, some descriptions of where it should go. on some occasions, even a track of music, like, I want it to be sort of like this one, which actually that usually happened with the actual songs, opening and closing themes for each one. So I'd be given a list like that. I would work it out in my mind. You know, I know the story, I know the universe, so something that would fit in the universe. And after I write something, I would send it to her, either for her to say, oh my gosh, this is perfect, or I need you to change a little thing. And it's actually interesting because everything I wrote, there was nothing I sent to Michaela that was initially shot down. Like, for example, oh, this melody's horrible, we got to start all over again. That never happened. And it all just sort of... What?
I'm sorry, I just never got the talk. This is dog shit. Just redo it.
I don't know. He's like, this sucks. I should have hired someone else. No, but
No, I'm sorry.
yeah. So that's what would happen with that. It actually worked out really well because we ended up creating a main theme that I used in multiple tracks. I'm sure those who've listened to both soundtracks can hear that often. The da 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 da.
Yeah,
Which became the overall arcing theme for the story, as well as the Chain the Monster theme, which was heavily associated with Seduce Me 1, and then the Flames Inside theme, which is heavily associated with Seduce Me 2. Then it was really fun to bring back the Chain the Monster theme in Seduce Me 2, as particularly in the big romance scenes or the fight scene with the Demon Lord and everything at the end.
I always thought it was super fitting how the character's ringtone was Chain the Monster. that was an awesome touch. Was that Michaela's idea or was that your idea?
That was totally Michaela's idea.
That was totally Michaela's idea.
I think we talked about it at one point because maybe it was after she came up with the idea. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that we're using this. The first song only got used in the trailer and we never used it again, so we got to use it again. So ringtone. Yeah.
When you showed the music to Michaela, I mean, obviously you said that she never, completely trashed any of them. Did she ever give you tweaks? Did you ever ask you to make any tweaks, or they were all just perfect?
Yeah, no, there were always little tweaks. Like almost every track had a tweak at some point. Can I think of anything that was perfect the first? Actually, no, there was one track she said was perfect the first time through, and that actually was the Siege / the Demon Lord fight scene. Because that track actually was the last piece of music I worked on for the game. Because I knew I wanted it to be this big epic track.
Epic, yeah.
I knew it had to be perfect, so I saved it till the very last, and I spent an entire week working on it. Because most of the tracks I worked on for the game, I usually got done in one day. At least a draft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so for example, the big romance scene or just one regular background track, I'll get it done in a day, send it to her, she'll have a couple tweaks, and then I'll just spend the next day, finish the tweaks, and that's it. This big orchestra final fight scene track, I spent an entire week on doing section by section, because like, all right, how can this be better? How can this be more epic and more awesome? We get to the end of the track. Now we gotta fit in all of the main themes, and it has to be just perfect. So... It was way fun.
What track would you say is your personal favorite?
Well, I'm pretty sure most you're gonna think it's the Siege track, and that's true. But after that, seriously, I put so much work and love that track. It's because I wanted to be like as epic as the songs you hear in epic anime, like Attack on Titan or I'll Know a Zero or any of those epic ones. But after that, I really enjoyed working for the first game. Let's see, I have to separate them because I actually wrote the music very different in the first and second games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first game, I even used different software for each one. First game is probably could be the Chain the Monster piano version, or just Chain the Monster itself, because that one was fun because I hired actual musicians to record the electric guitar parts for that. There's another video game composer named Michael Kelly that I hired to record the electric guitar for. So that was really fun doing that. I really enjoyed working on that, as well as editing vocals. We got a singer, Ability Phoenix, to record for that. So I think probably the opening theme song for the first game, just because it was one of the first times I got to work with other musicians on a track and hire people to do that. After that, probably just the piano thing from Seduce Me 1. As far as the second game goes, probably Mika's theme, because that was also the first track I did for the second game. I knew I wanted to do a really romantic orchestral score for this second game instead of the more electronic score we did for the first game. So getting that song done and just setting the tone for the rest of the game was probably the best part for Seduce Me 2, other than the stage, because I freaked out about that.
Well, Chris, I have to say, sir, you did a phenomenal job, because with all of the games that I've played, all the dating sim games I've played, I have never come to any game that has come close to the quality and the richness of the soundtrack as Seduce Me has, or the diversity of music. Many like of these types of games don't even have any music, or even if they do, it's only like 1 or 2 or 3 tracks. But this is just, it's impressive. Yeah, how rich it is.
There aren't a lot of indie games, or especially visual novels, that have an entire custom soundtrack.
Right, exactly. It's fantastic, and my favorite parts are when you do get to the scenes that are very emotional, because the music sells it. So thank you, sir, for that.
Thank you.
So since I want to wrap things up, since I know that this is starting to get a little long, so I'm gonna have one more question for the guys, for any of you guys who want to share. Do you have any other anecdotes or fun, entertaining behind-the-scenes stories while producing this game that you haven't shared yet?
We could always share Michaela's favorite jokes.
Ah, yes.
I really don't think she would appreciate that while she's not around.
No, maybe not.
I do have to be a little bit of Michaela's arbiter.
Someone needs to be.
Let's see. I don't know if this is more like a joke or a funny behind-the-scenes thing, but it is behind the scenes. After we had been advertising the first game, we finally decided to do our first stream all together as the Seduce Me crew. This was even before the first game was released.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had released the demo. We were trying to get hype for it. We were like, this is a free game we're going to release. And, we want to try and spread around the word as much as possible. So, hey, let's do a QA with everyone. And we did one online, like on live stream or something. And we just got such a big turnout that surprised all of us. Not to mention, it was the first time we had all, chatted with each other. So
each other.
Oh, you're Alejandro? That's so cool. You're Brad? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad's okay.
Well, I already knew Ethan beforehand, so I was like, oh, Ethan.
Yeah, that's true. Chris and I knew each other.
Yeah, I knew Ethan because this is I have a behind the scenes story to another game of how I met Ethan.
Okay.
This is just for fun and because I owe Ethan a lot. So the one game that we worked on, because I just recorded for the final episode of it for Ace Academy. Originally, Ethan and I ran a game called Kendo Crush.
Okay.
And Ethan was cast as the main character. He was going to be the playable character. Did you do lines? Did you do
I did,
all the lines?
a lot of lines for the
He
demo.
did all the lines for it. Did you get paid or you didn't? Because it was just the demo. Yeah, he never got paid. And then the dev team.
I did over 100 lines for this game.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm the main character. Every single thing that the narration says, I say it.
Yeah, he said it. And the dev team was apparently just fuck Kendo Crush. And then they, without telling anyone, they were like, we're not making Kendo Crush anymore, but we are making Ace Academy, which is just, it's the exact same game, but with giant robots. And the main character is blonde. And apparently they weren't going to contact any of the voice actors to be in it. And they told Ethan, yeah, you're not in it anymore. And Ethan, you have to tell all the other voice actors about it. So I will say, thanks to Ethan, I may not still be in the game if it were not for Ethan. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really sorry that he ended up getting completely shafted because they were yeah, we feel a voiceless protagonist would be easier to connect to, or whatever the email was that we got.
Secret was they didn't want to pay my rates for how many lines I was doing.
Hey, Brad, fun fact.
Yes.
Guess who also voices 4 characters and
that's
did the
true.
whole
You are
for Ace
also
Academy.
Yeah,
you are also.
I mean, that's the reason why I knew
on the
Chris, because he
spreadsheet.
was in that game.
Yeah.
I know that you're also in there. I apologize. I just remember that story. Were you on board on board early on? Because I know James Brown Jr. came in like later.
Yeah, like what happened was I was originally hired as the composer for the game, and then when it was still Kendo Crush, they were like, "Oh yeah, so we've got extra voices. Do you want to do it? We're paying you for music, but we're not going to pay you for voice." I'm like, why not? So I did, but then as we moved into Ace Academy, they paid me for voice too. So more money, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
That's why EP never got paid. They had to afford me.
Right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for like holding on to the end there. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, please do keep in touch. If you guys ever do any other future projects, I would love to help promote them on my channel by broadcasting about them, playing the demos for them, or whatever it is that you guys do. I'd love to support you guys
absolutely.
anyway.
I have I'm actually going to throw a plug in here because we are in the stages of actually because I showed this. Chris and Ethan know because I showed them whenever we were at Ace, and I'm trying to make a visual novel called Witch Hearts, which I would like people to play, and I can send you the art. And I have the demo done, programmed, but we have no art yet. At least for most of the characters, we have like almost 80% of the voice acting done, and I wrote almost all the music. So whenever that's done, I will actually send that to you. If you'd be willing to play it on your channel, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'll actually email. I guess I can probably. I don't have all your emails yet, but I'll try to message you guys if you have any upcoming projects that you want to send me links to. I would love to put the links in the description of the interview video, just so that people can see your stuff. Because again, I'm a big fan of you guys. I support whatever it is you guys do because you need money to feed yourselves. So
Thanks,
any way that I can help get your projects seen. There's a huge fan base of your game on my channel, and I'm sure that they want to support you too. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me if there's anything that I can promote for you guys. It's the least that I could do for you guys taking the 2 hours and a half sitting down with me with this. It's been a great honor talking to you guys.
Absolutely, dude. It's been a pleasure. And thank you.
Awesome talking, man. Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks, dude.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so just to sign off, guys, thank you again for joining us. Congratulations to you if you got through this entire fiasco that is an interview.
Why are you still awake?
Why are you still awake?
I'm sorry about the chaoticness of our group. We are a very rowdy bunch.
A very, very rowdy family. We're a big family, which means we're horribly dysfunctional.
I think that's
our brothers
important.
That's true.
Absolutely, it's. I think that's important, and I'm glad that I got to have a glimpse of joining your little tiny family, if only for just a couple of hours. So please do check out the links down in the description below. I will put down future projects for all of these guys. I'm sure all of them would love your support for anything that they do as much as I love them too. So thanks again, everybody, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other.